So on the Lewis Nichols show today, I'm really excited to get him on. It's kind of his first interview in a few weeks. So let's say hello to Levis, formerly known as No Way Jose. How are you?
I'm good, man. How you doing, man?
Really good, thank you. Thanks so much for joining us today as well.
Oh, no problem. Thanks for being patient. It's been a little bit since I've done an interview, but I guess here we are.
It's nice for you now, because I guess at that time, everyone always wants to, talk about your release. They want that story. And I think it's kind of good that you've had a few weeks where you can digest it now, because back then, I guess you haven't even kind of really had a chance to think about it. And you've been
Right.
doing the interview. So I think it's kind of nice to get to talk to you now where you've had a chance to think about the future. And I think, it'll kind of be different talking now than it might have been a few weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, like, initially I get it. Like, so many damn names were released. Like, it was ridiculous. Like 30 plus names. And I don't even. It was hard to process it. Like, we got the video, the release, and then like everybody wanted to interview all at the same time. But like, it's like I get it. It's like, a form of entertainment. That's what we do. We're like a damn soap opera. We're on every week, all that stuff. So people want to know, but it's like, it's my life, right? It's not like, and for the time period it is right now, everything, the pandemic going on, like, everything's closed. So it's like, you can try to be excited and all that stuff, but everything isn't moving. I mean, so it's like, man, everything's really like unclear, or it was, and just time to process. I can be cool with it and okay with it and all that stuff, but then you really have to sit there and reflect, and like, before you keep going, you got to process everything. And I think I was just going too fast before I had the time to process. So yeah, I took time, and I felt bad initially, but fuck it, man, I gotta do me. So.
Well, today I wanted to go on a little bit of a journey with you, which is kind of where your love for wrestling actually come from. So talk us through, was it something you always loved? Did you always know that you wanted to be a professional wrestler? Was there kind of something else that you wanted to do as well?
Well, I wanted to be a baseball player, Dominican born, family loves baseball, baby. And that's what I wanted to do. My body didn't agree with me. My shoulders sucked. So they gave out on me senior year. All the offers I had or whatever sort of went down the drain. And that's fine. But at like 11, I want to say 10. See, my family moved away from the rest of the family, and I had two sisters. And so like my brothers were like my cousins, right? And so I remember going back to their house over the summer one day, or few weeks one time. And I was eating breakfast, and then I hear some mumbo jumbo upstairs, and I run upstairs because I think somebody fell or something like that, right? And it's my cousin jumping onto my other cousin, like full spread, like, whoa! And I was like, what the hell is going on here? And he was like, remember, he was like, I'm Shawn Michaels. He's Vader because he's fat. You can be Ahmed Johnson. And I swear I've told this story a million times, and it's like, obviously, why? I'm Ahmed Johnson, I was the darkest one. But it's like, I was like, all right, cool. Who are those guys? And then they were like, wait a second, you don't know who they are? And I was like, no, what are you talking about? It's wrestling. I was like, what's that? Like, we didn't watch it in my house in North Carolina, right? So they showed me wrestling, and I'm like, oh shit. So initially it was just to like keep up with them and have something to talk about. And it's like, oh, you like that? I like that too. And then like, so they can say names and I know, but I was there by myself. So of course I just got hooked, because I was just watching it all the time, and it was weekly, every time it came on, it was just me in my room just trying to figure out what's going on with wrestling, and then like seeing these larger than life characters. And I was very much an introvert, so it was cool to see all that, expression with everybody, and it was like, it was cool. So that's where my initial love came from, just trying to keep up with my cousins, and they sort of got out of it. I kept going with it, of course, and I remember going to a live event. It was like that, it was like, oh, wrestling's cool, wrestling's not cool. I listened to too many people all the time, right? It was like, oh, I gotta be with the cool kids. Oh, fuck the cool kids. No, but it's like I was just, trying to figure life out, trying to figure myself out. So it was like, what do I like or whatever. But I remember my dad took me randomly, because I didn't watch it for a little bit, took me to an event, and man, there were so many different types of people there. And I was just sort of like, okay, cool. There were so many types of people, and the show just kept going, show just kept going, show just kept going. And it was like, you know, it's fucking wrestling, dude. Like, you just got sucked into everything that was going in. And then The Rock's music hit, and then his entrance came. And I'm telling you, everybody shot up, and they were like, wow. And then, like, my hair on the back of my neck went up, and I was like, this is some cool shit. And that was energy, you know, the most electrifying, man. That was, and that got me hooked. I was like, I got to do this, you know. I still tried baseball, and once my shoulder gave out, I was just sort of like, you know, I want to be a wrestler. Like, I think I could have still done baseball, but I was just sort of, I took it as a sign, I guess. My mom didn't like it. She was like, hell no, you going to school? I said, all right, cool. I went to school anyway, but like after school, I was teaching abroad actually, and then I just watched it, and it found me again, and it was like one of the only things in English. I was in South Korea. Shout out to South Korea. But I was in South Korea, and it was one of the only things on English, in English, and so I just kept watching it, and I was like, damn, it found me again, and I just couldn't shake it. Like, I was like, oh yeah, whatever, turned it off. But I wonder what they're doing, you know, like all that stuff, like just kept going back to it. And then that's when I was like, you know what, I don't want to be like 50 years old and never give it a damn shot, you know. So I gave it a shot, and there it is.
And I know you said then you were kind of introverted. So did wrestling help your confidence? So speaking to you now, you know, and even watching you wrestle, you've always had that natural charisma and a way to connect to the audience. So have you always kind of had that in you, or is it kind of wrestling that's brought that out of you?
Man, I think it's wrestling. Honestly, well, let me see. I was always introverted through high school, even going into college, and then college was when I was sort of like, you know what, like, I was away from the house or whatever, and it was just like I could try to do things and, you know, say things and not be worried about, you know, like what my mom and dad think. Like, so it's like that's where it started. Then teaching and in front of the kids, I had to be like, you know, I was a big dude, something they're not used to. So in order to get rid of the intimidation factor, I was just more, you know, this bubble of energy, really. And it's something that, like, if you get to know me, I could have gotten that way, but right off bat, I usually was never like that. But wrestling taught me, like, you got to turn it on. When the camera's there, you got to go. So even in my tryout, bro, I was just I did the work. Like, I busted my ass to get ready for that tryout or whatever. I just never shut up at the tryout, which is unlike me at all. And then I remember promo day, I was really iffy about, you know, what I should do or whatever, because everybody was like, oh, whatever. And I had this loud ass gimmick, and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. So I did it, and I just turned it on like that. Like, I remember the before and the after. It was like, all right, cool. I did something good there. Like, even when I was an extra, because I was a rosebud. I was real quiet the 2 days we were there, and then we had to do the match in front of people, empty arena. You just wrestle each other. And I asked the locker room of all the extras. I was like, I had my outfit there. It was all white, you know, but I had the pair of black trunks, black boots everybody always says that you have to have. And I had like these white pants, white beater, white shoes, like just stand out. I had a fedora chilling, you know what I mean? I had a nice little shirt to wear, like an island shirt. It was great. Everything was all white, so it was pretty fucking loud compared to everybody else. And I asked around, and everybody was like, nah, man, just go with the black boots, black trunks. And I was like, too many people said just go with the black that I wanted to go with the white. And then my confidence, like, I was shaking going up to the ring, bro. I was literally shaking, and then I wiped my feet, and when I did that, the swag came in, and I got in that motherfucker, and I just didn't shut up. So it's like, when wrestling is there, that's when I can, boom, express myself. But like, if it's just me, it's gonna be, oh, awkward turtle, baby. Like, I'm just chilling, man. Like, it's just me, and I don't like to get in a lot of people's business. I don't like a lot of people in my business, anything like that. So it was just my way to break away from all that stuff. Yeah, love it.
How did that even come about, though? NXT, you know, and actually signing for WWE. I know you were talking about the tryout, but how did that, you know, come about in the first place? Do they come to you? Do you go to them?
I put my information on like, they were like a recruit page or something like that.
Wow.
Somebody said I should do it because I remember I lived in the country in North Carolina. That's where I was. I'm keep looking at myself over here, man. Just making sure my hair still looks terrible. Yeah, got it. I was living in the country, and I remember one time they had like a fall festival or something like that, and I'm talking about country, bro. Like, and I wasn't used to it, but I was like, fuck it, like, let's go. So I played this like character from the Dominican Republic, this loud, obnoxious, like heel, basically. I loved it, bro. I absolutely loved it. And there was this fall festival, and I just went out for an hour and talked shit to everybody. And the camera just followed me, and it was so much fun. I riled people up. I got with people, got people to get behind me. Like, it was so much fun. They were like, man, you should post that on this thing. I was like, all right, whatever. So I posted it on the recruit page. It wasn't much of anything. And but I just put my stats in there, you know, 6'4". Gotta put that extra inch. 6'4", like 225, 235 or whatever it is. You know, shoot weight's like 250 or whatever. But at the time it was like 235. And yeah, they just asked me to be a Rosebud off of that because I was only wrestling for like a year and a half at that time.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, I don't know if they saw the video because that's the only thing I posted. I don't know if they saw just the stats because I think I might have had one picture, but they weren't like pros, you know. I think it was just me in a room, like, you know, like, hey, let's go, like. So they were like, all right, cool. And then at the thing, you know, that's the personality came out, and I remember the Goldust, you know, Dustin and Mark Carano, they were watching on the outside. You know, they were seeing if there was somebody, I guess, that stood out. And in my match, being the heel, I thought it was the best thing I could do because the person I wrestled just did their little shine or whatever, and it was whatever. We were gonna go back and lock up, and right when we were gonna go back and lock up, they did a pyro test. I took a bump. Boom! I rolled out the ring. Who did that? And I went right to Goldust, right to Carano, and just started yelling at them. And I think they just popped huge for that because I didn't skip a beat. I just fucking blamed the babyface. Everybody was in cahoots to try to screw me, come back in. And it was just stuff like that, man. Wrestling just gave me that type of freedom. And being that character just gave me that type of freedom to just roll with anything, you know. I knew how to do that, you know, so yeah.
And it's funny because you mentioned obviously being a Rosebud, and there's a lot of, you know, you had Adam Rose coming out with loads of people, and then you had you doing it. And a lot of people kind of said that it's very similar to see that.
Yeah. You said what?
Did you ever feel that when they came to you with the idea of you?
Yeah. I mean, that's the first thing that I said because on Raw, that was the thing, right? On in NXT, I only did it in Brooklyn. I did it for the takeovers. I did it for a big event. Now I would do it as well, but I would do it with the crowd, and that was magic. Like doing it with the crowd was fun as hell because you know it's usually at the beginning of the show, and I go out and talk about people are just riled up for wrestling. They want to see something, so my music is square, and then like I go out, I jump into similar to the Prophets. But the Prophets just dance through and come through. I would dance through, and I would, people would be like, "Come on, follow me," and we would have a train of people going all the way through the conga line, and that's where the conga line idea sort of came from. I remember, I forget where I did it. It was either in Orlando, or Lakeland, or Venice, one of those places, but. Somebody just said something about a conga, and I was like, "Who the hell does a conga line, bro?" I was like, "I'm not old as hell. Like, what the hell is this?" But you did that, But then on the main, they wanted it for the first night, and I was like, okay, cool. But then apparently, boss loved it so much, you know, the producer came up to me and like, that's part of you now. I said, fuck, because even though it was super cool and it gave, you know, initially I knew what was gonna happen. Just like when I had big hair, I knew what was gonna happen, Carlito,
Yeah.
and people weren't gonna see anything past a dude with an afro who's from the island. They're gonna see Carlito. So when this thing happened, I knew they were gonna see Adam Rose. And for that first, at still like towards the end of my run, I still got Adam Rose, Adam Rose, Adam Rose. And it's nothing that I want. Like I didn't want the conga line. I didn't want the thing that made me in NXT what I was. Like I could dance and get away with it, but then everything on the main became about the conga line, who never retaliated doing anything. I got 12 motherfuckers with me. You telling me we can't throw hand at all? You know what I mean? It's like that's where it became a little bit of, you know, I didn't mind having them with me, but I was always like, we should do something with it, you know, in order to make it different. I was trying, but it is what it is, man. That's in the past now. So, yeah, I knew it was going to be compared. I didn't want it initially, but then after a while, I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, let's just get the people going. And I remember my rah-rah speech at the beginning of everything. Like, I had a hell of a speech to get people to try to pump up because we were usually the first thing they saw. Because I was like, basically, if you guys ain't blown up, don't come back. You know, like if you ain't tired as hell. And I was like, I'm gonna be tired as fuck. I'm gonna go in the middle of that ring, and I'm still gonna wrestle 10 minutes, and then I gotta dance on my way back. You know, like that shit is tiring. It takes a lot of cardio to do it. And so I was like, if you're not tired, you did it wrong. You know what I mean? So basically, and, I mean, and people just enjoyed it. They had fun. You know, so that's basically what it was. And at the end of the day, like I said, it gave a lot of people a chance or an opportunity to be shown, you know, there as extras. And if anything, like that was the cool part, you know, like I got a lot of people. I remember one of them, I think a cheeseburger got fucked up. and at the end, we were going up and like he got a cheeseburger chant, right? Because it was a promo with me and Mojo, maybe. And the crowd was on fire. And as soon as like Mojo said like ham or cheeseburger or whatever, cheeseburger chant started going crazy. So I was like, fuck it, we're rolling with this. And then he took a bump later. So when like the end of the match happened, we're going back up, and I'm like, I held his hand, like it was something, but I had him, and I was like, soak this moment in, brother. And I just turned him around and put his hand up, you know. And then they were like, ah! You know, it's just simple stuff like that. Or a cheeseburger. I was like, you know what, fuck it. Like, sometimes you don't know when people are gonna have an opportunity like that, or what it means to them, or stuff like that. Or it's just fun, man. Just being a part of something, you know, a part of the process, and just have fun with it, you know.
Thing is, I really loved your theme song, and I've got like a list. So when I go running, I have like, you know, Brock Lesnar's on there, Triple H, and then your music comes on. I become the campest runner going. I'm there like as if I'm on Dancing with the Stars, and I'm like camping down the road, and you can see people driving, kind of. Is this guy right?
Running like Phoebe on Friends, just all ugly, having a good time, dog.
It's brilliant. It gets you in the mood. It's a proper little Dancing with the Stars song.
Yeah. So when they played it initially, I laughed, bro, because I was like, this is cheesy. and they played it on the speaker, you know, and because like, you know, everybody wants something. I wanted something a little more, I guess, like, because I had something in, you know, NXT that was generic as well, but it was more fast paced, and you know, I had the trumpets and stuff, and I was like, all right, cool, my Dominican like merengue and stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of trumpets, like oh, you know, but like I wanted trumpets, so when the saxophone comes in, and it just sounds so like, it just made me laugh because I was like, hold on, bro, that's definitely not, but it was what it was, because when they played it at the PC, everybody, the rings were almost full, and everybody just started dancing, and I was like, well, it wasn't my first choice, but if it had that effect on people, bro, everybody like started laughing, joking, having a good time. I was like, if it has that effect, that's perfect right there. You know, sometimes it's not what you want, but it's what works. You know, so they knew better than I did.
Going back to when you were in NXT, when they said to you, "Look, we're going to put you on the main roster," what were your initial thoughts to that? Did you feel you were ready for that? Did you kind of want a bit longer in NXT? Because I guess that's what you all work towards, is actually moving over to the main roster.
No, I was ready. I was excited, bro. Like I was pumped. Like that's what, like you said, what everybody wants to do. And I thought I was good to go, and just it was a different beast on the main compared to NXT. And it was like maybe I wasn't. Who knows? But it's just I thought I was ready. I knew I was ready, and whatever happened, it didn't work out the way it did in NXT. And shit, just learn from it. If I ever do go back or get an opportunity to go back, like it's not something I'm gonna. It's not something I'm gonna be like. You know what? I just hope that never happens again. Like, no, like fuck it, balls to the wall. I was too cautious, too walking on eggshells when I went up, and I think if I ever go back, it's gonna be a little bit different. I think from here on out, it's gonna be a little bit. I've always been a respectful dude. Blame my mama for that. Mama. No, I'm just joking. I've always been super respectful, like hella, like try to be as like nice, and I know when somebody calls themselves humble, then they're an asshole. But like, no, I try to be as humble as I possibly can about a lot of things. And so like I was in that mindset that if I just do what they want, and just don't piss anybody off, and yes sir, no sir, and all that, then karma will come back and good things will happen for me and all that stuff. Like I was just sort of that naive mindset, and maybe that was my downfall, bro. Like let's be real, like it's very competitive there. Everybody wants the same damn one spot, so it's like that was naive of me. It was dumb. So I just know better for next time, if there is a next time. But I know
Sounds
I'm
like
gonna keep bumping and feeding.
you'll have Vince McMahon up by the throat by the sounds of it if you go back.
Oh yeah, next time I go up, me and that dude, no. Nah, I don't know what I'll do different. I just know I think that I won't be. You know what? I can't even tell you. Like it'll just have to be there. I'll have to be in that situation again. It's not something I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, because if I don't do that and go back, then I'll just be disappointed in myself. I'll just say that I've learned from the past, and if the opportunity ever presents itself again for me to go there, then I'm gonna have to do shit differently, because I don't want to be in the same boat that I was last time. Where I mean,
And,
shit, you saw the run, so.
well, I mean,
So
as big as WWE is, I mean, if you look at, say, superstars like Matt Hardy, before his return at WrestleMania, he left and he made something that was incredible, and then came back with something that he had created. And I think, his run in WWE didn't go as well as people thought, and he's gone away again to AEW, and now it's come back again. So I think sometimes it's not the wrestler, it's kind of sometimes not, as big as WWE is, they might not know how to react to certain personalities. So I'm really excited for what's next for you now, because I think if you get the chance to showcase what you can really do and have that creativity, I think it's going to be a different story in a couple of years' time.
yeah, and that's what I'm hoping for. Matt's a genius, and a lot of people have gone, and become like what they, should have. Like the freedom is what's the most important for somebody to go away and have the freedom and build who they are, who they want to be, and or like a character or something. Like Matt's been doing it for because even with Omega they had all those different characters and stuff, and then like he's even bringing some of those back in AEW now. But it's like he's always been a genius in the game. Like Jericho goes everywhere and reinvents himself all the time, and it's just sort of like I think all the wrestlers have it in them to like reinvent and just showcase what they have. It's just the freedom to have it, like the ability to do it, and I just can't wait, to go out there and just be who the hell I am or who I see myself as, not, I know initially people want the afro and the dancing and all that stuff. I don't even know. I don't even know if I want to go out and do that, because I'll do that, give me a few shots and hey, we'll dance all day long. But like just in the ring and stuff like that, I don't know. I don't want to have to dance off with people and shit like that. Like I love wrestling. I love doing it, and I'll do that if that's what it ends up being. But even if I had more freedom with that, that'd be cool, you know,
Yeah.
because I didn't have, like, I would do longer matches in NXT, and those were fun, you know, like incorporate everything, and the boys were super like open to everything, you know what I mean? Because we got down to wrestling after all this stuff, and it just made sense. But then when it was on the main roster, it was like, all right, you got a minute on TV to go out there, but it's like, okay, it's so different, you know. So I could make the character work, but it's like if I had more of the freedom to do it. So we'll end up seeing what the hell happens, you know, have some ideas here and there, and just ready to make it work, baby. Let's go.
Have you had any conversations yet? Because I know, places like Impact are teasing that there's going to be loads of people kind of moving over there. You've got AEW, you've got Ring of Honor. So have there been kind of conversations with you and the other big promotions in regards to you potentially working with them?
Oh, I can't talk to other promotions at the current point in time. You know, 90 days, baby, no compete.
You still on that for a bit?
Yeah. So it's a 90-day thing. So it's like, yeah, that is what it is. So on July 18th, that's when everything opens up. So if you see like countdowns on people's things or date July 18th, it's because that's the day that you're allowed to do whatever. So yeah, so you know, don't want to breach contract or anything like that. So right now I can't. This is all.
Such a shame, really, this 90-day thing, because I feel like when you've left a company, there's that element of hype surrounding your name, and you kind of think how long 90 days actually is, and it's kind of like people want to live off that momentum, and to be restricted must be hard for you as a performer, because you must be itching to kind of get out there and do what you know you can do, but kind of think, oh, 90 days, are people going to forget about us? Like, God knows what goes through your head.
Yeah, there's a lot of shit that goes through your head. I mean, you just got fired first and foremost, in a nice way, like, but it's like, I think in other times, it might have been a pain in the ass and like harder, but right now everything's shut down and sort of like, all right, cool, because you know you still get paid or whatever, so it's like, all right, everything's still rolling smoothly and whatnot. So it's sort of helpful now, but at the same time, like social media is more prevalent than it's a brand new thing. So as long as you keep active on that and get people on your side there, then I think you can keep that momentum somewhat. Of course, when the first person comes out and does something or says something, then the buzz will be back and people will want to see where you go and where this person goes. So I think it's gonna, because there were so damn many of us. So I think people are still gonna be more in tune, and they're smarter to the fact that it's gonna be okay, cool. This is when, So when that happens, I think we can still keep that momentum. But yeah, initially it was like, damn, will people forget about me? Shit, if they haven't forgotten about me, like it's like, when I was there, like I know I wasn't shown as much. I was on main event and stuff like that, but I wasn't on TV. And even when I wasn't. So it's like it was all that doubt and fear and all that stuff is always there. But we got to where we were. We got to the biggest wrestling company in the world, because we're go-getters, we're dreamers, and even if we've lost a little bit of faith in ourselves during that time frame because of the system, and bro, it doesn't take that long for us to kick out of that shit, and then realize who the hell we are. And once we find that, like you can say whatever you want to, but nobody knew me, Levi Valenzuela, nobody knew No Way Jose, nobody knew this face before I decided I wanted to try this thing. So I'm a dreamer, bro. I'm a go-getter, and like I have faith in myself, and if I didn't before, I sure as hell do now. Like I'm gonna end up being where I want to be, because I'm not gonna sleep. I'm not gonna stop until I get there. But I need 90 days to do it.
What does Mini Sean and Mini Vader think about your success?
Well, Mini Vader would hit me up. He actually lived in Orlando the same time I was there, so like we chill a lot. And Mini Sean, he'd see me whenever I was on the Northeast. Like he'd drive to Boston, different places in New York, like anywhere close. So like they love the success. They still hit me up. They know like it was that's the reason why. And they're like, damn, for real? And I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, so I mean, they're very cool, very supportive, and yeah, that's love of the family, man. Can't beat that.
And I've always wanted to ask, because a lot of wrestlers always have someone different. So when it go back to your time in WWE, was there somebody that you would always turn to for advice, or someone was almost kind of like a role model for you that was always there to give you that support on a one-on-one level?
I talked to a lot of different people. Drew McIntyre, uh, of course, like he's helped me out, especially towards the back end, like a lot. And we got super cool and, just started talking to each other. And me just venting and all that stuff. And, you know, he was cool. I always talked to Apollo as well. So you can imagine how happy I am to see
Yeah,
their
of
success.
course.
Because those are like two of my closest friends on the main. And then, like people when I was in NXT, I lived with Dawkins for a while. But he's very like, the way he is the way he is. You know what I mean? It's, but like just for advice and stuff, like I talked to some of the boys, but like I said, I kept to myself a lot until I got to know somebody or whatnot. So yeah, those are the two towards the end that I would just help me out with this mentally and all that stuff. And those are two dudes I still talk to almost every day now. So yeah.
When you were, all released a couple of months ago, there was one person that a lot of people focused on, which was Drake Maverick. He released a video where he was so visibly upset, and obviously now he's had a contract extension. So, what are your thoughts on that? Because some people don't know if it was a storyline, if it was kind of part of it all. So, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, first of all, I forgot Elias and Dash. Those two, I talk to a lot. I've talked to a lot. And they've helped me out a lot. And there's a lot of funny stories too, but those two as well. But about Drake, man, I kept texting him. I was like, brother, is this a work? Like, are y'all working? Like, dude, if it is, just let me know. And like, true brother, like he never exposed if it was or not. But like he says it was like for real a surprise to him too. So I can only take him at his word, like
Yeah.
and even if he would have lied or told me like it wasn't, then I would have lied to you right now. Because like, I ain't exposing the business, baby. But like, from what I know, it was his. If he worked, bro, let me tell you, if he worked that damn, I'm going away. This is all that motherfucker. He deserves the damn. You know what I mean? Like, if he worked everybody since then, shit, respect, bro. Because that was an emotional video. Like,
Yeah, very.
and then maybe they used it like the company, as smart as it is, like, of course they saw that it went viral. So even if he was gonna get fired, the damn thing went viral, and it was one of your employees crying during a pandemic, and he still had this thing to do. You know what I mean? He still was booked to do this thing, and bro, like the smartest thing for any company would be to use it, to roll with it, and then like the matches he had was dope, and he kept going out and showing out, and like people were behind him, true underdog. So if it was a work, wow, hell of a work. But I'd like to think it was real and it turned into that, which is also really cool.
Yeah.
I can't sit here and get mad, like it did. I see in some of the comments, whatnot, but like, yeah, at the end of the day, it's something that affected us because he was part of, I think he was one of the first group that got announced, and then the name started trickling down. And I get, some people can get mad. I choose not to because I can know what am I going to do? Get mad over one of my good friends, success. That's dumb as hell. Like, in my personal opinion, I'm not going to do that because, like, I'm not going to sit here and get jealous. It's just like, hell yeah, you showed him. If any of us had the opportunity to show him, I'm pretty sure we could have done it. You know what I mean? And he was just given that opportunity, and he showed that. Damn, maybe they didn't value him like they didn't value some of us, but given the chance, he showed out. And it's like we all can do that, but he was just given that opportunity. So it's sort of like he did it for himself, but it showed that all of us are capable of doing the same damn thing. You know what I mean? And it's something I'm happy for him for, you know. And like I said, if it's a work, damn, that was a hell of a work.
Just before that, you teased us that you had some kind of funny stories when you mentioned Elias, and you had this like the biggest smile, as if there was something that you kind of just
I
thought
ain't telling you about my stories, bro. Come on. Not yet. Let me get through this time, bro. I got 90 days to sit here and struggle, you know. Let me remember the good times and laugh. And then
We're gonna
after,
have to get you on to talk about. I think Elias is brilliant. I got to meet him last year, and he's just such a showman. When he goes out there and he's got an audience, it's like a light switch. He just goes out there and
yeah,
smashes it.
it's crazy to see. It's crazy to be in the arena. I was there in Seattle. You know, I live in Seattle, and like 8 minutes, bro. 8 minutes of straight booze, you know, off of one comment. And he lives for that shit, you know what I mean? Like, he's not an evil person. He's a good dude, really chill. Like how you see that, like he's very chill. And like just when he starts playing, dude, it's great. And like, yeah, no one really communicates with the audience the way he does. Like it's fucking awesome to see because he can get them exactly where he wants to with just a few strums of his damn guitar and a few words. So like that's one thing that sucks because you know interactions with the crowd. That's what this is all about, right? So like you take that away, now it's like man, now you really gotta everything's gotta change and all that shit. Like you know, if I go out with the conga line, then I'm just dancing like an idiot. If there's nobody there, you know what I mean? Like so. That's on my last thing. I think they didn't have me doing entrance because they were probably like, well, he doesn't have the time. I could have done the damn thing. You know, I did that in NXT for 2 years, 3 years, 2 years. I was there for 3 years, only 2 with the gimmick. So it's like, you know, it's like when you take the fans away, when you take everything else away, then it's like, damn, there's a different element of like, oh, okay, it's gonna be more interesting. But like Elias just continues to do his damn thing, man.
I think that's the best quote I've heard. He can entertain a crowd with a few strums of his guitar. Sounds
Yeah.
like the most unintentional innuendo ever.
I mean, if you think about it too, like it's legit. Like he'll go up there, somebody will be talking, or he just screaming, and people just hate it, or they cheer, depending on what he wants them to do. It's crazy.
What I did want to very quickly talk to you about, you know, just kind of lastly, is the Royal Rumble for me is my favorite pay-per-view. I love it. I love the countdown of the clock. I love the music. I love the speed that people come out of. And for you to be part of one, and of course it was so memorable because it lasted literally a couple of seconds. So what was that like for you to be part of?
Oh, it was good. It was even though it was like combined 90 seconds. That's my favorite pay-per-view too. Like I loved it, and like you said, everything, the anticipation, the countdown, like who's coming up, who's that. To be a part of it was fucking awesome. And I wanted to be 1 second out. You know what I mean? And I think I was 2, and it sucks. I'll go down as I think officially number 2 fastest. I tied with a couple other people. But like, it's just awesome, man. It's like, you know, the energy in there, because we were at a ballpark too. The energy is ridiculous. Everybody's just waiting, and you know, you can feel it in the back. And it's high pressure and all that stuff, and you have to hit everything exactly the way it's supposed to go. But to be a part of one, that's something so memorable. And I actually like, you know, went there, sort of did the haha, forgot about it, and got beat up by Drew on the back end. So that was extra cool too. That was actually before me and Drew became super close, super cool. I mean, and then yeah, so it was memorable. I wish I was part of this one, but I don't think we needed 90 seconds in there. So
No, it's funny though. You say about 90 seconds, but if say for instance you were in there for 15 minutes and eliminated 3 people, we wouldn't be talking about it as such a special moment. But going in there in that kind of 90 seconds, you did something that was entertaining, and it was something that we're talking about now, and you'll probably be talking about it in many years to come because it was. Although 90 seconds, you did something special in that time.
yeah. I know it was like I'm not the type to get beat up because like any situation you're there in order to do something, like you got to make it memorable as possible, right? So like I knew that was the spot, that was the quick spot, and it's like, all right, you got to try to make it as as fun as you possibly can, as memorable as you can. And there's a lot of different moments where it's harder for me to remember, but I just remember that as one of the damn coolest things. Coming out of a dugout, being a former baseball player, bro, that's all I wanted to do. I was like, no, that number 20, whatever, Levis, Allen. And I was just like, fuck this. They were like, take your time going down there, but, not too slow. And so the whole time I was like, damn, I got to time this perfectly to get in, get it eliminated, react, dance right as Drew was coming out. It was like that's why I said high pressure. Even though it seemed very simple, everything had to be on point. Because if I fucked up, I was gonna get, I wasn't gonna hear the end of it. But it just works out perfectly. And then when it happens, and then you see all the comments and all that stuff, and then some people, oh, he should have gotten more time. Oh, that was so great. Oh, you're a joke. Whatever. You know what I mean? Like, all we're trying to do is get people to react and be involved.
Yeah.
It was cool. It was fun. Another one was Mania, just being a part of that and just walking down. I didn't have my own entrance or whatever, but we came down together, and you can see me. I'm just looking side to side, round and round, and I'm like, I'm taking all this shit. I don't know if it's ever gonna happen again, And it was cool to be a part of that too. But
Joe, it's been amazing today because you've literally, without a doubt, are the most entertaining, funniest person I've interviewed. Like, literally, I think wrestling needs to be a sideline, and you need to get into comedy because I've been in stitches during this interview.
I'm not a funny person, bro. When I talk about my life and misfortunes, hey, I can make fun of me all day long. But shit, man, it's like, I'm not gonna sit here and I'm not gonna wallow on people. My life has been what it is, and I've been where I've been and done what I've done and gotten to where I've gotten to, and it's all things like if I set goals, I know I can get there. It's just I'm happy because, like I said before, it was like, and we talked about this off screen, but before it was like just trying to answer all these questions, just getting released, letting all these emotions bottled up inside me. So maybe, and I had anxiety when I was about to do interviews, and I was just like, that's not comfortable for me. I used to be a very angry dude and mad and all that stuff, and then I went away and just found myself and peace. And it wasn't like a journey, I went out and meditated somewhere or something like that. It was like I just took time to myself. And when I taught abroad, that's where it was. It was like a year and a half, 2 years of just me being responsible for me. And I had to check myself on a lot of different things. And that just became who I am. So when those emotions started coming back and I was on the hit, fuck, bro, I was getting angry. I have to do another interview. Or just, there, let it do, and then do the interview or whatever. But now I just let everything just settle, let everything chill. Look at the positive of everything, and it's like, all right, cool. It wasn't where I wanted it to be. Now I can joke about it, make fun of it, all that stuff. I love the fact that I can say I worked for WWE for 5 years. 5 fucking years. Almost to the day. I don't know what day. Damn it, I was 5 days short of 5 years. They owe me. I guess technically I still work for them. But it was I set a goal and I wanted to do it, and I had WrestleMania, I had Royal Rumble, I went abroad and wrestled, and with the biggest company in the world, and now I just have different goals and different mindset, and it's now I can. That's why I took that time, because now I can sit back, reflect, and start moving forward, and I'm gonna have a positive outlook, positive attitude, but at the same time, like I told you, I've learned. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna sit here and fester and be pissed off or anything like that. I know I got a lot to prove, but I think I'm excited as fuck that I get to prove it. So, hell yeah. I mean, 6'3", 250 pounds, your boy Levi Valenzuela. Let me tell you.
I'm looking forward to seeing what's next for you, because you've got so much energy, you've got so much talent as well in ring and off screen in regards to promos, and I think this is going to be an opportunity where you, in my opinion, out of a lot of people that were released, are going to really shine, because I think you having a blank canvas where you can go out and do what you want to do, I think it's going to be a different story. And I'm really excited. And I'm so grateful that you've given me the time today to talk on the show.
Oh, thanks, man. Thanks for having me on here. And I appreciate the words. And like you said, I'm looking forward to it, bro, because we're all very talented people. You know, we were there for a reason. We got there for a reason. Only a handful of us are able to work where we worked, and it's now wrestling's more out there than ever. You know what I mean? So wait.
One thing I did want to talk about just before we go, because we were talking off air about it, is obviously on social media at the minute you're showing a lot of support, and the kind of the world in whole is in a situation that's not been known for a while. So I wanted to kind of get your thoughts on everything that's going on with Black Lives Matter.
Yeah, you say not being known for a while, but like over here we've known about it for a while. Like growing up, it was tough, you know, being black. Like growing up in America, like I grew up in North Carolina. Like there was a lot of prejudice, a lot of bias towards me, and a lot of stuff that like I said earlier, like made me angry. You know what I mean? Because I kept it all bottled up inside, and when it exploded, I exploded. Um, so it's been going on with not only myself but everywhere, you know, in America. And now the world is seeing it, and it's a beautiful thing. I asked you, and you were in the process of telling me like what's going on over there right now. So what's going on over there?
So here at the moment we're having protests. In the UK is obviously a big place, and everywhere is having protests at the moment. And people are supporting, and you know, even the government have come forward and supported. And you know, I've seen a lot of stuff what's going on in America, and of course over here it's nowhere near on that level. It's kind of, I don't know what it's like for you over there. We only see snippets on the news,
Yeah.
so we don't get a true kind of understanding on what's going on. But
Yeah, we just want over here to be treated as equal. I know it's hard to register or realize if you live somewhere else, but you know, systemic racism is real here. Like it just seems as if the black community is always targeted, or you know, sort of it's like a predetermined thing in order to make us fail, you know. Or if you look at the I don't know if you have the film or the documentary 13th on Netflix. If you do, watch it, because it just shows you how the system has been created in order to keep the black man down. You know what I mean? The black community down. And I know I might, you know, push a lot of buttons, but this is how I feel because I've lived it, I've seen it, and just because somebody doesn't see me express it all the time, you know, doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. You've seen myself, you've seen Xavier Woods, you've seen Big E, you've seen Kofi, you've seen Titus, you've seen Apollo, you've seen everybody come out and tell their stories and tell how they feel, you know, and that's something you can't deny. Like people have said, oh, well, you know, it's just might have been no, it happens all the damn time. And the thing that makes this a little bit different is the world is seeing it for the first time. There was a video out there of a man getting killed, and the amount of excuses from, you know, the powers that be, the amount of explanations, the amount of time, because Breonna Taylor still hasn't, you know, her killers, murderers still haven't gotten arrested, you know, and it's been months since that happened. You know, Ahmaud Arbery, when he was taking a jog, and these weren't police officers, but he wasn't supposed to be in that neighborhood, as they say, or he didn't look, or they thought he was robbing it just because he was a black man taking a jog. Like I've been places, and I've been followed, and I've been, what you doing here, Boyd? You know, and it's like that type of shit. That's the shit that we're trying to fight, because that's been accepted and hidden and masked as, you know, the American way for so long, and it just ain't right, you know. And my demeanor, my tone has gotten a little different right now because it's real shit, you know, and it's something that has needed to be changed for a long ass time. And you know, we've fought and we've protested, and it was peaceful, that it turned violent, now it's peaceful once again, and it just seems like we're being heard, but the powers that be are refusing to speak on it, you know what I mean? And it's just sort of like we're fighting this struggle in our own damn country to be heard. You know, the world hears us. So why can't our own country hear us? You know, it's just a lot of injustices on the Black community, and you know, it's tough, man. It's difficult. So this is the time where we're just speaking up, and I'm using my voice, and trust me, like when you have a platform or social media or something like that, it's like you're like, should I? Man, when I put that first tweet out, it was like liberating. You know what I mean? And it was like, all right, cool, because like you're worried about a lot of things. I know I was, you know, like I said, the where I was sort of beat at my self confidence a little bit, so I was worried about a lot of different things, and then I just started speaking, and then it just like started flowing, and I just sort of became comfortable with expressing how I felt, and I think that's what everybody needs to do. Everybody needs to hear from everybody in their situations, because somebody that follows me might not follow somebody else. Somebody that follows somebody else might not follow me. You know what I mean? So we all have to just express how we feel, that we need change, that, you know, from defunding the police, which doesn't mean get rid of the police. It just means that take some of that money that they get, because it's a substantial amount, and put it into other things, you know, schools, alternative things for incarceration, back into the community. You know, it's like, especially the Black community, because, you know, we got these zones and these sections, which makes us less desirable. And gentrification is coming in, and it's a lot of different things that have been happening. And if you look at the incarceration rates and the, you know, the amount of a lot of things have been coming to light about crimes, same day, same time, different colors, the amount of time, you know, from a couple months of probation to years in prison, you know, being for the Black community. Probation at home is for the white people. You know, it's like, I don't like talking black, white, you know, all that stuff, or I didn't before. And now it's time where I need to, like they say, get uncomfortable and make people uncomfortable. And, you know, if I have to do it, if I piss some people off along the way, luckily I don't think I've been pissing too many people off, because people are listening, and it's great. And yeah, I'm thankful that people are listening. I'm thankful that it keeps going, but I just want it to be, I want there to be change, man. And there has to be change. People have to start seeing everybody as equals. And if there's still fights, man, there's still videos out there, there's still a lot of different shit that makes it hard, you know, to understand how how some motherfuckers just, how they see shit, you know, based off this, you know, what color I am. It's it's tough, man. It's tough, but it's something that needs to change, and it's something that we're fighting for, and it's something that, you know, I'm proud to use my voice for, and I'm proud to share my stories, and, you know, I'm proud to talk about, and um, that's what it is, man.
I mean, with this as well, I've seen a lot of stuff on social media, and one thing that's annoying for me, and I assume it must be for you, is people who are not understanding what's going on, in the sense where I'm seeing a lot of people sharing stuff, surely all lives matter, and I don't think they're understanding the reason why it's Black Lives Matter. But I kind of, that I find that frustrating, because you guys, like you said, we don't know what's going on in America. We see snippets on the news, so a lot of it I'm doing from research, what you see on, you know, Facebook and news sites. But, you know, for people to say all lives matter, I don't think they understand what's going on, and the kind of, people are wanting real change now. Like you said, the powers that be are not acting on anything at the moment. So I think, you know, you have to do what you're doing just to be heard, because it sounds like it, you know, for a long time it's just swept under the carpet.
Yeah, and it has been, and like, we're not saying that all lives don't matter. You know what I mean? Like, we're not saying a white life or, you know, an Asian life. Like, we're not saying any of that. It's like, the people have been using this analogy. It's like houses on fire. There's a house on fire in the neighborhood. You got to go put that fire out. You can't be like, what about my house? Well, your house isn't on fire.
Yeah.
You know, this is the house that's on fire. This is the thing that's struggling. This is the thing that's burning down. This is the thing that's, you know, it's dying, you know, literally dying in front of your eyes. No, but what about my house? Fuck your house. No, not exactly. But it's like, this is the thing that we need to focus on, because it's that all life thing. I feel like it's trying to take away, you know, or the blue life thing, I think that's it. Police have a dangerous job, man. I'm not gonna lie, but just the way some bad cops out there do business, and I can't get into like conspiracy theories and stuff like that, but I think one officer was talking, and it was funny because he wasn't aware of what he was saying was what we've been trying to say this entire damn time. He was like, what about us? You guys just treat us like animals, like some of the same damn things that we've been trying to say, but they happen to have it for 2 weeks now in the police department. And he feels like people were out here, we had to wear masks, and so things were closed, and people were out with assault rifles and Confederate flags and some other flags, and it's like yelling in the face of police officers, fully strapped, taking over buildings, fully strapped, yelling, cursing them out. Police, no riot gear, hands on their sides, nothing. Now the black communities out there, we're getting shot. We're getting shot with rubber bullets, flashbangs, tear gassed, because we're doing peaceful movements. Because we claim it, or the media wants you to think it's a riot, and some places, I'm not gonna lie, some places have had riots and stuff like that. But then that's where the media was just focused, and for the most part, it's been peaceful, and we just want to be heard. You don't see that as much because it's not. For people, it's not like that shock and awe thing. You know what I mean? They want to be shocked. That's why if there's a break-in somewhere. I was watching the damn news the other day. It was like the protests were going on. It was peaceful. Then they switched to broken glass on the floor. Fucking broken glass on the floor because it's broken glass. And the dude's talking all this shit about this story about what might have happened. I don't know if he broke the damn glass. You know what I mean? But like, they just want you to shock and awe and sort of put a little bit of fear in people. It's like, you don't need to. Like, for the first time, you see all different colors. I was in downtown Seattle, and man, everybody's fist was in the damn air, and no justice, no peace. And I'm talking about as far as my eye could see, and with my contacts, it's 2020, so far as hell. And then behind me, the same damn thing, and it was even more pronounced because Seattle has a lot of hills downtown. So it's like, holy shit, there had to be 20,000+ people there, and all for the same cause. And that's everywhere, and that's happening everywhere, and it's beautiful, man. It's powerful, and it needs like that type of support. I don't think it's never been there, like worldwide, nationwide, and that's what we're talking about. Everybody with us for the same cause. Everybody's realizing that our house is burning down, and it's never been that way. And they can try to sweep everything under the damn rug if they want to, but it ain't working, and we've seen a lot of different things. Like, I don't know if you saw that video, even of that old 75-year-old man getting pushed down in Buffalo, and they try to say, oh, he tripped. Bitch, serious? You know what I mean? Like, he tripped. You try to see Breonna Taylor, husband or boyfriend, shot because it was a what's it called? Knockless warrant. He shot because he thought somebody was breaking into their house. Now he's got charged with attempted murder, and they put 8 bullets out of 22 into his girlfriend, who's now dead. And it's to say that this officer didn't kill the man. George Floyd, may he rest in peace, and he's helping change the world. Like, to still try to say from the initial autopsy that asphyxiation didn't cause his death, when we see this man getting choked for 10 minutes, that's come on, man. Like, for $20 for a counterfeit $20 bill, supposedly $20 bill, bro. So people have been shocked, people are with us, and that's all we're trying to do. I don't know what the beginning of this thing was, the question, but I think it was why people say all lives matter. But I think for those few who see it that way and try to deter it from there, there's so many more that see it for what it is. And that's the beauty of this movement right now. And, maybe it was because it was trending and it was #1, but I hope it doesn't die down. because I feel like people are just waiting for it to die down and then pretend like it didn't never happen, you know. So I'm gonna keep posting. If people get annoyed, then unfollow me, you know. But I'm just gonna keep posting and saying as much as I can and bringing light to the situation.
It feels different, and I mean, like you said, it's the whole world at the moment that have come together, and I'm really hoping, you know, that you get the results that you need and deserve. Because I was kind of not uneducated in a sense, but here in the UK, there's so many very small towns, and you know, when I realized because I love wrestling, so when I watch a lot of wrestlers who have tweeted stuff and shared videos, it opened my eyes to what was going on, and it was shocking because you kind of thought we now lived in a day where everyone was accepted for who they are, you know, no matter of your race or sexual orientation. And I was reading stuff and seeing stuff, I couldn't believe what you were all fighting. It was
Yeah.
just shocking, and to see some of the, and I'm going to check out the. Do you say it's the 13th?
The 13th, yeah.
I'm going to check that out
It's
because
about the
it's
13th Amendment of the United States, and which the one that abolished slavery. But the very second line in there says, "Unless you are a prisoner," and then you see the whole drawback of that, because afterwards, all hell breaks loose for the Black community in the U.S. Um, because they still have to be used, you know, and the only way they can is if they're incarcerated. So everything you see from there on out, hopefully they have it. Um, but yeah, just give that a look. Give what is it? Brown Blue Eye Experiment by Jane Elliott on YouTube. It's just where she takes, you know, two groups based on blue eyes or brown eyes and puts them in a room and starts treating one, lets the brown eyes know that hey, they're superior, and then lets the blue eyes get treated like inferior, you know, just to show racism for like 2 hours, and just people get pissed off and all that stuff. And it's like, you experienced it for 2 hours. Like, just imagine, you know, people got mad about masks because their liberties were taken away from them. They couldn't get their nails done or their eyebrows done or their hair cut, or, you know, they couldn't do that for 2 fucking weeks. So that all hell broke loose. Imagine 400 plus years of the system bringing you fucking down. And then imagine having to keep your mouth shut, or you face repercussions, or you face backlash, or you face people talking shit, like be targeted, like all the shit. Like, imagine all this stuff happening, or not being believed because people say, "Come on, man, that never happened." Why? Why? Because it's never happened. Like you said, you weren't aware of it, and now you are. And it's like, damn, has that really been going on? Yes, man, it's been going on. It's been going on for a long time. And yeah, so just like these different things are out now, like, and they shed light on stuff. And when you watch that, please, I mean, hit me up and let me know what you thought, because I'm interested to see what you think. You know. And,
no, definitely, and it's nice to talk to you about this because you know, I genuinely believe that there's something that feels different about this because I've never seen a world kind of come together and unite like they are now. And this is something that I don't think can be ignored, can be swept under the carpet, because when you've got billions of people speaking, you can't ignore that.
yeah, man, you can't. And some people are still trying, but like you can't. People are. It's a different day and age, man, and especially the world. The world right now, it's like, holy shit, like you said, like, what the hell? I didn't know. And now you got video footage and different things, and you know, some of my white friends have been hitting me up, and how can they get more educated about the matter, and like, you know, to say they're on my side, and like, you know, and I appreciate it, and I love it, you know. And it's like, this is like, that's never happened, you know, like, you know, like, never fucking happened. And you know, people just are becoming more aware, and I just hope it continues. I hope it's, like I said, I hope it's not a fad. I just hope people from here on out are more aware of all the shits that have been going on.
Well, I'm definitely going to check that out and then drop you a message just to kind of let you know. But I want to say thank you for being so open and honest and sharing your thoughts with us as well. And for people that want to follow you on social media so they can see your posts. And again, you know, a lot of us here, it's nice to, not nice to get educated, but you know what I mean, to actually have an understanding on what's going on. So, you know, where can people find you to follow you?
As of right now, it's still the WWE one. So still, what is it? WWE No Way Jose or No Way Jose WWE? What, check both of them. It's gonna be one or the other, man. But yeah, and if like I talk about this, I talk about K-pop, I talk about some wrestling. You don't like that, my bad. So, but it's just I feel free to express myself, and it's shit. Some needs to be talked about. K-pop helped me, with the struggle of mentally and all that stuff. So like I talk about that freely, and you know it is what it is. Like I've been trying to be something I'm not for so long. Like I think Xavier said something about like having to be the nice, work twice as hard, but always having to be less threatening. So I always tried to be like, try to make everybody as happy as I could and be the approachable black guy or stuff like that. And like that sort of fucking, when you try for so long to please others, you lose yourself a little bit. And I think I've just been in that mode, and now I'm just being me and not giving a damn, not cursing. I don't think.
That's
No,
so
I
nice.
don't.
This is so nice to see, and this has been one of the most, like I said, not only the first part where we were talking about some funny moments, not only like one of the funniest interviews, but actually kind of raw and emotional and just to educational, to actually sit back and listen to you speaking about what's going on and how it affects you and makes you feel. To just hear that one-on-one with someone, it is, I've never felt that in an interview before.
I think I saw you cry, and it's and it's okay, bro. Like this shit. I don't know if you did, but I seen it. Call you out on it. But like if you did, bro, like it's a beautiful thing, Like I'm happy if what I say affects somebody in that way because it's eye opening. And this is the first time I've talked about it. So like if I missed something, if I said something wrong, please don't attack me. And like it's just a lot of raw feelings and emotions. Like, boy, I could feel my body getting hot, and it's just like it's different and it's unnerving, it's unsettling, it's eye opening, it's a change that needs to happen. And when it's affecting so many people, it can't be denied. And like you said, it feels different, bro. And hopefully it is different. Thank you for letting me talk about it. Because shit, I think I just needed to talk about it. I'll probably hit you up later, but let me say something else.
No, honestly, thank you for being just one of the most real people I've ever spoken to. This has been an interview that I'll never forget. I've done hundreds of these, and to just feel that I'm learning and being educated, and just to hear a story full of emotion, it was just like, you're sitting back and you're just getting to talk freely, and it's just I'll be checking it out literally tonight. That's the thing I'm going to watch tonight.
Yeah, and it should rock you a little bit. I mean, the one on YouTube is like an hour. The documentary is like an hour and a half, something like that. Either or is fine. I think if you want to get a feel of just what we're talking about here, like, and in terms of like the system and everything, look at 13th, and then about the racism and all that stuff, about the differences of people who weren't aware, that's the other one. It's just, you know,
One
yeah.
I was going to say one thing that I did want to just kind of make you aware of in the UK. A couple of years, probably about 2005, 2006, there were a couple of comedy shows, and they used to have white actors would dress up and they would, put black faces on as characters. That is now, from all of this, is being removed off every streaming service. It's being removed off being, put on TV. And the actors that did that have now come out and done a video and said, do you know what, back only 10, 15 years ago, we didn't realize how offensive what we did. And they were so full of remorse of, for kind of offending people, not realizing it. And from this now, that's happened. These DVD box sets that have been available on all our streaming sites are being taken down, and people are taking action and realizing, you can't do that. It's not funny to pretend to be. And I think, that's such a strong thing that's happening just here. So if it's happening here, it's going to be happening everywhere. And that's why I think it's different this time.
I mean, stuff like that is awesome because it's like it is a change, and then the remorse from the actors, like you said, 10 years ago, it was fucking 10 years ago. We were talking about 2010. It's not like it's the damn 1800s. Like,
Yeah.
it was just accepted and all that stuff. And it's just derogatory, offensive content like that was normalized. And it's like big ups that, they took it down and all that stuff. But it's just, that's the, we're just changes, man. We're just looking for changes. We're just looking for equality, and we're looking to be heard. So I mean, that's cool. I'm not aware of everything that's going on everywhere either. So that's why I think it's awesome, because like, you tell me that shit, I didn't know. Somebody can tell me something that's going on in Australia, shit, I don't know. Yeah. But the fact that everybody on thousands of thousands doing the right thing, like in the UK, didn't they throw a statue in the damn lake of a former slave trader or something like that? It's like, you damn right. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, so like, just stuff like that, man. So, and the more information you can tell me about shit that's going on over here, that'd be dope. Like, just, this sharing of information. We got this thing called the internet, and it's it's helping the cause right now. It's awesome.
Well, thank you so much. Honestly, I've really loved talking to you today. Thanks for joining me on the show and taking so much of your time. I mean, I know it's kind of early there. It's nearly 9:30 here.
Damn, hour and a half. You paying me for this?
Are we?
I'm messing, brother. But thanks for having me.